besties! Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be discussing my January reads, and then we'll get into our February TBR at the end of this video. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let's get into today's video. Hi, I'm Tandria, and in this portion of today's video we are going to discuss what we read in January. So first up on the list is Wild Reverence. I read this one on my Kindle, and it was good. It was good. I rated it a 4.5 stars. It goes along with the Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows books. So if you haven't read those, definitely read those before you read Wild Reverence. So Wild Reverence is a prequel to the Letters of Enchantment duology, and Wild Reverence follows our female main character who is, at the beginning, she is a young goddess who discovers her powers. She learns about what her powers are, what she can do with her powers, and she ends up discovering more about herself and what she can do and how much power she truly does have. And then towards the end, we kind of get into more of a love story, which is such a beautiful aspect of the story. I absolutely love the encapsulation of, watching her growth, watching this other character's growth as well, the male main character, and just watching them both grow and their love story and how they just came to each other, and it just ends so beautifully. It's such a wonderful prequel to the Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, but I honestly, if you haven't read any of them, I would honestly recommend reading the Letters of Enchantment duology before you read Wild Reverence. You'll really understand the world a lot better if you read the duology before you read Wild Reverence. Just because Wild Reverence focuses more on the gods and goddesses, whereas the Letters of Enchantment duology focuses more on the humans and how they view the gods and goddesses and what it all means to them. So definitely read those two before you read the prequel, and it will make a lot more sense. It'll be so much better. So book number 2 that we read in January was Crown Tide, given to me by my little helper over here that you can't see. So book number 2 is Crown Tide. I rated this one a 4-star, which is kind of the lowest that I've rated the books out of the series, which they've all been incredible reads. I absolutely loved them. I felt like there was kind of something missing out of this one, but there was also just enough. I don't really know how to describe it, but I wanted more out of this one. I don't really know how else to say that, but I just wanted more. Like, I feel like there was something else we could have gotten out of this. I don't really know what it could have been, but I will say that the ending was not what I expected. And we'll leave it at that for any of you who have not read this or have not read this far into the series yet. It's not what I expected. It's not exactly what I wanted to happen necessarily. Maybe it will all work out and it will all be okay and everything will right itself, because this stressed me out a little bit towards the end. So maybe that's why I rated it a 4-star, because I wanted it to be different, even though I'm still kind of okay with what happened, but also not. So book number 3 was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was actually the first Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I have ever read, and I will just say that within the first 20 pages, I was absolutely in love with her writing style. Just the way that she describes everything, the way that she lays everything out. Just, it was good. It was amazing. It was wonderful. It was everything I could have needed and more. So Atmosphere is definitely something that I wasn't expecting to really enjoy, because it's about space and astronomy and NASA, which isn't typically something I normally read. But let me just tell you, this book consumed my entire being. It was a definite 5,000 star book. In this one, we are following Joan, who is a professor of astronomy, and she becomes one of the first women who gets into NASA and is trying to be one of the first women to go into space on a space shuttle. So we are following her and just her journey of navigating into NASA and becoming one of the first women in this field that was, predominantly a male-based field for forever until the 1980s, which is when this one was set. More than just rediscovering her career, she's really rediscovering more about herself and who she is and who she's becoming. This is more than just a book about space. It is truly a love story, and just watching, her fall in love with herself, her friends, her career, her partner, just everything. Watching her just rediscover herself and just come into who she is just, it's just a beautiful story. If you haven't read it, please go pick it up now. Like, pause this video, go get it, and start reading it, because it's just, it blew my mind. I was not expecting it to be that good, even though I had heard so many good things about it. I was not expecting it to just consume my very being, and I didn't want to put it down. There were so many nights where I stayed up so late reading it because I just couldn't stop. I sobbed so many times in the best way. I laughed. I cried some more. It made me smile. It made me giddy. I had all the feelings and all the emotions, and that's what makes a perfect 5-star book. Book number 4 was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. And this one was just so cute. It was so witty. It was adorable, honestly. It was the cutest little story that I have read in a while. And it was definitely exactly what I needed in that moment, because I was trying to find something that was just super fun but easy to read, and just overall just a beautiful read. I rated this one a 4.5 stars. In this story, we are following a woman who is navigating a lot of familial challenges and just changes in almost every aspect of her entire family is just kind of shifting. So at the start of the story, of course, we meet our love interest, or who we think might be our love interest. As soon as they meet, they just know that this is endgame. This is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. But there comes some familial challenges with her and her family, like I mentioned before, and she has to make some changes. And it kind of really affects their relationship and where their relationship is going. And just watching both of them try to navigate these challenges and try to figure everything out, and just the way that they do it and the way it all just unfolds is such a beautiful story about just when you found the person, you found the person, and you're going to do whatever it takes to keep them and just have them in your life no matter what. So, and there's so much growth in both of these characters, following their each individual journeys of just their own personal growth and growing towards what the future looks like for each of them and them together. And it's just each of these characters journey on their own self-growth and personal development, and just watching them figure out life was such a thrilling ride, trying to figure out, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Is this going to mess things up? Is this going to all work out in the end? Are we going to get a happy ending? Are we not going to get a happy ending? And, most of the time we do get a happy ending. But just like the entire story, you're just like, is this going to work out? Is this, we know that these two are meant to be. There's no doubt. You can just tell from, the first moment, basically. But the entire time, you're just like, is it? Is it? I don't know. And of course, I'm not going to tell you how it ends. But if you already know how it ends, then yay. Book number 5, sort of, and I'll explain in a moment, is Alchemized. So the reason I say this is sort of book number 5 is because I, unfortunately, decided to just soft DNF this one for now. It's not that I didn't love the story. I really enjoyed it so far. I only got to maybe 130 pages in, and I'm going to be completely honest here, my mental capacity was not ready for this. I thought I was ready to dive into this, but my mental capacity was shot. It takes a lot of mental capacity to really understand this book. And like I said, my mind was just not there at the time. I was not ready for this. So I decided to put it back up for the time being. I do really want to. Sorry, she's a little crazy over here. Do you want to hold it? Okay. It's heavy. It's just so funny watching you hold it. You don't want to hold it? Okay. We put it down because it was pretty heavy. But overall, this story, so far in the first 100 or so pages that I got to, it was interesting. I really enjoyed just watching the little bit of character journey that I got to get into. But there's just so much depth to it. It is very, very dense. And I will go ahead and tell you that if you haven't read it yet, there's a lot to it. A lot you have to really think about. A lot you really have to try to keep up with because there's kind of a lot going on. And it's almost like a high intelligence thing. You really have to be paying attention. You can't be getting distracted while you're trying to read because then you miss it. And then you have to go back and reread. And that was honestly just really stressing me out. And I don't want to read something that stresses me out. And just with how busy life has been lately and how crazy and hectic it's been, I just didn't have the mental capacity to read it right now. But I do plan on picking it up later on this year when life kind of chills out for a minute. Book number 6 is one that I am in the middle of reading, but we are recording this on January 31st. So I am including it in my recap just because I am most definitely going to finish it today. I could probably finish it within less than 2 hours and I'll be done with it. So this one is Shadow and Bone. I finally decided to get into the Grishaverse. I have been super excited to get into this. It's such a quick and easy read. It's flying by. I am so invested in this. I did watch the Netflix series, and this was a couple years ago. I think it was not long after it came out. This was before I had really gotten into reading much. So, you make me lose my train of thought. But it's funny. It's funny. Okay. All right. She fixed my brain, apparently. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe. The Netflix series was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of sad that it got canceled. It didn't continue on. But watching the series before reading the books has definitely kind of helped me try to sort of visualize what's going on. Just because when I'm reading, I can't picture things in my head. I don't see things as I'm reading. I can't imagine it. Being able to have seen them on a screen and then reading the book kind of helps me to navigate the series a little better, which I will say there is a lot in the book that isn't really portrayed in the series. Not that I remember. It has been a couple years since I've watched it, but I will say that the book so far, I am a little over halfway, so we got this much left to read. It might be a 4.5, maybe a 5-star, which I'm pretty generous with my 5 stars. I'll go ahead and be straight up honest with you. I am considering kind of setting up a better system on how to rate books instead of giving a 5-star just because I loved it. I want to be able to really portray more about the book in my ratings rather than just rating it 5 stars because I loved it. Which there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with... you don't stop. There's nothing wrong with the way we rate books. I just want to try to, instead of looking back at my list and seeing what I read throughout the year and seeing all these 5 stars, but then some of them I'm like, I barely remember what happened in that book. I want to be able to rate the 5 stars, the ones that are unforgettable, the ones that I'll be thinking about forever. And I really want to kind of adjust that a little bit. So with all that said, that is my January recap. I'm looking forward to what we're going to read in February. Okay, we took a little snack and drink break, and now we are back to dive into our February TBR. So if you saw my last video where I did my bookshelf reorganization, you may have seen my little Winnie the Pooh honey pot that I had the TBR prompts in. Well, I have some unfortunate news. My cat decided to be a menace in the middle of the night, and he busted it. It's still a functioning honey pot, but it is not aesthetically pleasing anymore. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's no longer our TBR jar. It's currently just holding my iPad charger. And we have our new TBR jar that we are going to be using, that my little helper over here is holding, and she's going to be my helper for the TBR jar. All right, so our first prompt is going to be, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Under 300 pages. Okay. Okay, so we have adjusted our setup just a little bit so that we could pull our TBR books from the top shelf and we can have them here so that we can see them and go through them. If we don't find something that matches our prompt out of these TBR books, then we're gonna go into our Kindle library on my iPad and see if there's something we can read on my Kindle instead of a physical book if it doesn't match the prompt. So our first prompt was under 300 pages. So we are going to start with these, which I honestly don't know if any of these are even under 300 pages. Definitely not these. This is the Mistborn saga from Brandon Sanderson, and we all know that these are not going to be under 300 pages. And then we can't do these. If it makes you happy, I kind of want to hold off on this one because it's a fall themed, and I don't really want to go into that just yet. I kind of want to wait for fall to read it, even though fall is so far away. Next is The Maui Effect, which is a very summer read, and I don't want to read summer when it's snowing outside because it's been snowing a little bit today. And I'm just a very much mood reader. I don't want to read a summer book outside of summer. We have The Giver. This one could potentially go into our under 300 pages. I actually got this one at the thrift store. It looked pretty interesting, and I wanted to give it a shot.
225.
225? Mm-hmm. Looks like this one might be our under 300 pages read. We're going to see if there's anything else that matches our prompt, but this one, The Nightingale, definitely not. We can check Me Before You if you want to check that one really quick. I don't think it's going to be, though, because if this was under 300, then that one's probably not going to be. So that one was definitely not under 300 pages, so we are going to stick with The Giver, which is going to help me move out of my typical genres that I read, and that's something I've wanted to do this year, so that's going to help me a lot. Prompt number 2. A book about animals. Okay. None of these are going to match this category, actually. So I think we're going to have to dive into our Kindle Unlimited and see what we can find. With this prompt, a book about animals, we are including any kind of animal, whether it be mystical, mythological, or real-life animals. So, dragons, unicorns, cats, dogs, whatever it may be. We're going to go through my Goodreads list and see if anything kind of stands out, and then we'll go over into Kindle and look and see if it's on Kindle Unlimited. I think the one that is going to match our book about animals prompt is actually going to be When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I have really been looking forward to this book because it's about dragons. Of course. We got our little dragon here. We got both of our little dragons. I have been kind of intimidated with it because I've looked at it a couple times in the bookstores, and it's pretty hefty. It says in here, well, I mean, it's only 576 pages, which really isn't that bad when you think about it. I mean, I've read 800-page books, so that can't be too bad. With that one, we are going to do When the Moon Hatched. We are ready for prompt number 3. First person. I know these are You can look at that one and see if it is. Yeah, it's not. It's in third person. Let's look at this one next and see if it's first person.
It might be. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. All right, so I guess our book for first person is going to be Me Before You. It's going to give a little bit of diversity in my February TBR here. On to our last prompt, prompt number 4. A second chance romance. Okay. A second chance romance is basically like they dated in the past and then they reconnected. That one's not. I know that one's not.
This one?
No. Okay. So we're going to have to dive back into the Kindle world again. So, all right, we're back and we have found our second chance romance story. We're going to do Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is going to be my second Emily Henry book. First one I read was Great Big Beautiful Life, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed her writing style. And so we found Happy Place as our second chance romance. It's not on Kindle Unlimited. However, I know that it's at my local library, so we are going to grab that in a couple days. Right now it's Saturday afternoon, so they closed earlier today. So we kind of missed our chance going to the library today, and of course they're closed on Sunday. So we'll probably go Monday evening to grab that one from there. So our first prompt was
under 300 pages.
And we chose The Giver by Lois Lowry. Prompt number 2 was
a book about animals.
And we chose When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Prompt number 3 was
first person.
And we chose Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I think that's how you say it. If that's wrong, I'm sorry. And prompt number 4 was
second chance romance.
And we chose Happy Place by Emily Henry. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just making it this far into the video. And I'm super excited for these reads. I can't wait to talk about them next month because it's definitely a very diverse reading month. So we'll see how it goes. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment on what you are currently reading, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!